Good morning, everyone. It's Tasha Belix here, a registered psychologist in Calgary, Alberta, with Tasha Talks to Teens. And I thought it was important that we kind of dip into a topic around boundaries. We don't often talk about this until there's been a breach of boundaries. But as I think of my own life and a lot of the young people that find their way into my office and families, often learning how to set limits in our life so that we can honor what we really need to be healthy, to be safe, to thrive is a really critical lesson. And so I hope that you will dip into this topic with me and put some thought into it. So we have some physical boundaries in our life. Think of our skin. So our skin acts like a physical boundary to keep the good stuff in, and to make sure that we stay integral and all the good stuff is in our bodies. If there's a breach in this boundary, like a cut or a scratch, germs can get in and we can get sick. We have physical boundaries at schools. So schools often have a perimeter. You're allowed to go to the back fence. You can go as far as the curb, by the crossing guards. And within safe limits, young people have the freedom to explore and to kind of grow who they are. We need to have those. Without some limits, we'd have kids getting run over by cars and it wouldn't be super safe. We will be going back to school this year with masks on. That's another barrier that we have, so that we are keeping our own germs to ourselves, and hopefully going to limit the spread of COVID-19. And I think also sometimes boundaries, some that are equally as important that we can't touch and see, are the boundaries we set with our friends, with our children, with our families, with our own health, with our work-life balance. And those are the ones that often can cause people a little bit of a challenge, because it's harder to see, but man, you sure feel it when something's out of whack and out of balance. And I think, everyone in this world has a capacity to set healthy boundaries for themselves. And it's not something that is, I've set healthy boundaries and there we go, that's done. It's something that is ever flowing and evolving to get into a place of balance. And so there's no such thing as perfection in the boundaries world. But coming from someone who has found myself working too much and feeling burnt out at times, I would say it's a place to really spend some time thinking about how boundaries have been modeled to you and your family, and also honor what you need so that you have unlimited energy and empathy and capacity to do whatever it is that really matters to you. And so I think of little 2-year-olds. 2-year-olds, no boundaries. And a boundary is really being able to focus inward and decide what is your yes or no. Most healthy little 2-year-olds have a strong yes or no within them and aren't too worried about other people's yeses and nos. I don't want to put my boots on. I don't want to eat that. Or I am going to the park, And so we know that everyone has that capacity when they're little to really honor the inside of them. And then something starts to happen where that loud yes or no starts to get muffled and faded out by other people's ideas of what is a yes or no. Just stand still, go give grandpa a hug or a kiss. He doesn't see you very often, but I don't want to. Come on, you're being rude. Come on. And so we can sometimes make our yeses and nos, we put them onto other people. I think of, even friends that I have that, family friends, and for a long time our kids were great buddies and it really worked to do lots of things combined as a family. And sometimes with time, as kids grow older, they grow differently. And it's not good or bad, it's just how it is. And where it made sense to plunk people together and it worked for everyone to play, as kids get older and have their own yeses and nos and opinions, that's someone that I don't see as a friend. That's not someone that I want to hang out with. And so how do I help my young person to have a voice to say, that's a no for me, and mom or dad, I need you to respect that. That's your friend and I'm glad for it, but it doesn't mean that I need to say yes when the inside of me is saying no. And we want to really think about how we're setting our kiddos up for yeses and nos when it comes into consent, when they are in an intimate relationship. We want people, when the inside of them is saying no, to have the outside also line up. No, I don't want to do that. Or yes, that sounds like a great idea. And I think, I see as young people turn into the junior high students and high school students, where it's easy to also let your friends' issues and concerns sometimes become yours. I can't go to sleep at night. I need to leave my phone on. My friend's really in a not a great space, and I'm kind of like their lifeline. So I am turning off my need for sleep or rest or recoup or my own stuff to reflect, because someone else's needs are bigger than mine. Sometimes I have even heard I couldn't possibly break up with my partner because he's told me that he'll end his life if I were to break up with him. And so maybe there's an inside that's screaming, no, I don't want to be in this relationship, but I feel compelled to say yes because someone else's needs feel bigger than mine. Even I think of, people thinking I need to fit into X size of jeans because that's how I will be accepted. So someone else's definition of what size I need to be okay starts to become the definition of the size I need to be okay. Even snacks. And so I do a lot of groups with kids of all ages. And often, little people are hungry. They're eating cheese and crackers and apples and rah, 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 laughing, talking with a mouthful of food, running in, doing crafts. And then something starts to happen around age 13, 14, where I know people are hungry. It's after school. They haven't had lunch for 3 hours. And people sort of look around at each other and then say, no, thanks, I'm good. I'll just have some tea. And it's a marked difference that I see from a group of girls maybe that are 11 to that early adolescent, where all of a sudden honoring my hunger is something that there's a bit more social pressure to not do. And so I often speak about that around some of my observations. Hey, you guys, when I knew you in grade 5, this was your favorite snack. What the bleep is going on? And give permission to, if you're hungry, really honor what your body's saying. If your body says, yes, I need food, then let the outside of your body say, yes, I need food. So that we get in the habit of checking in with ourself, number one, instead of looking to others to decide whether we have permission to move forward on something that we desire, or a yes or a no in our life. Even super well-meaning families, maybe mom's overwhelmed because of a divorce, or dad is, people are really worried about their job security. And so even young people can look to their parents and decide, I really wish I could talk to them about my own worries or my insecurities about this thing, or just the next phase of my life or whatever's going on. But I know by checking in with him or her that they're not in a space where I think that they could handle me. I think what I've got going on is too big for them to handle. And we don't want young people in our world to be checking in with our emotional world before they decide to share stuff with us. And if you're a young person listening to this, the truth is that mums and dads and grandmas and grandpas and aunties and youth workers and psychologists are really able to carry whatever's going on for you, even if it's hard to hear, even if it's overwhelming and makes tears come out of their eyes. To hold something to yourself, no one can get through hard stuff by themselves. We need to have relationships in our life to manage this kind of stuff, and nobody would ever want someone to keep something to themselves at the cost of a life. And so reach out for support. There will always, always be someone there to listen, even if it's really hard stuff that you're sharing. And so setting boundaries, we started at 2, it happens naturally, and we want to encourage our kids to set their boundaries in terms of how you can touch my body. I'll give, grandma a fist pump, but I don't want to have a prickly mustache kiss on my cheek. That is fine. And it may change with time, but we really want to honor that autonomy. And so that inner yes doesn't get turned down to a, well, I'll just check in with other people first before I decide what I do, that it gets spoken in volumes. And so it's not easy. Setting boundaries takes time. Who you're setting boundaries with, if it's in a relationship, the other person might not want things to change. And so get ready for a little bit of conflict. It doesn't always go smoothly, but at the end of the day, if you're doing stuff that makes sense for you, that's the best thing. And there's a beautiful quote from Buddha that is, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. And I think it marries very beautifully with boundaries, that when we set some parameters on what we want to give in our life, maybe what we want to have less of, that we get to show up as our best self, most caring self. We get to have the energy to put into things that really matter to us. And so here's an exercise you can do to start on your journey to maybe set a boundary in your life that you're like, I've kind of let that one sort of slide for a while, and now I'm going to do it. And so ask yourself this question: what is one thing in my life that I need to say no to so that I can say yes to something that really matters to me? So what is one thing in my life that I need to say no to so that I can say yes to something that really matters in my life? And in order to do this, it's not, I need to check in with my friends to see what they think I should do, or I want to see what other people are doing. This is, you got to come home. This one, it's an internal focus. And so if it feels comfortable for you, I would close your eyes and I would actually turn your head side to side like a no. And as you scan through your life, through your work world, maybe what goes on with family, in your community, in your place of worship, in your health, whatever space you're thinking of in your life, where is there a no that pops up? And it may be when you get land on it, it's something that almost makes you want to pull back. Like often it's very visceral. Our body tells us that is a no. So if you've got that in your head, you might be jotting this down. You might just do it as I'm talking. So if you got that to change, and it doesn't mean chop it out always. Sometimes it could be a little bit less of reducing something, being more aware of when you bring something into your life that's not so healthy. But what would it give you energy to allow you to do? And again, that's coming from within. And so it's that internal yes you're looking for. So you might close your eyes and move your head up and down like a yes. Just to make sure that you're really in line, that your head and your heart and your body are lining up so that you know that your yes is like, yes, that is what I want. And so something that I can think that's percolated for me through COVID is how much I used to work leading up to the pandemic. And there's a feeling, and other people that have that work, put a ton of time into their work might know this feeling, where you're exhausted, like your eyes are burning. Maybe you haven't really eaten very well, and you look at what you have on your calendar and realize you still have, 4 more sessions and, a lecture at a school in the evening, and you just don't even know how you're going to get through it. I've been in this place way too many times. And it's almost like I can drink a latte or something like that. And like, I don't know what it is, like this inner, like steel coats my body. So whatever I'm feeling just numbs out, like Superwoman almost. And then you can go and show up for other people and be really good at your job and funny, maybe when you're talking to people, and really energetic, but it comes at a cost to how you feel afterwards. I am so depleted. And so that is something that I am going to say no to moving forward. And I'm very clear on this boundary for myself. And what I want to say yes to, and even thinking about it makes me get excited because I know it's a yes that really lines up with my head, heart, and body, is that I want to be able to say yes to the people that are the most important in my life. My husband, my 3 kids, I'll throw my cat and dog in there. And so I'm not willing to sacrifice the people that I love the most to help other people that I really love. And that feels really good for me. I am the only one that can hold myself accountable to that one. And so think of yourself. What boundary do you maybe need to set for yourself so that you, as you come to the end of the summer and we're moving into the fall, how do you want to show up in the fall? What do you want to have energy to do? And allow yourself to imagine, fast forward the clock 6 months from now, if I've got a really healthy boundary around my work-life balance, what will I be like? Oh my gosh, I'll see my friends. I might have creative energy. I might read books for fun, sleep better, who knows what. But so it opens up a world that you wouldn't get to access unless you decided to honor that no within you. Anyways, until next Monday. Hi, Carolyn. I can't wait to hear what your no is and what you're saying yes to. Remember to breathe and be well. Bye for now.